To the worst day of my life.
Hey, things happen.
Yeah?
Where's your restrooms here?
Right over here.
Okay.
I can't believe Alec Baldwin was holding the gun. That's so fucked. I can't believe it. Oh, but...
That's alright, just...
Right over here.
Okay.
I can't believe Alec Baldwin was holding the gun. That's so fucked.
And we'll work this all out, okay? I think that one's open.
Do you need to come with me?
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand facing opposite, okay? You guys have a lot of people out here.
Yeah. Is there like a closer cop car you guys can put me in or something?
I mean, the closest one that I can put you in is one of the ones that's like the unmarked one.
I just kind of wish that any of my coworkers could stop seeing me because I already feel super bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, hold on just 1 second.
I can even throw you in mine. I have an unmarked one.
Is it closed?
It's like right. We walked through them.
Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, I don't want to go back.
Okay.
I just want to get the fuck out of here and never show my face in this industry ever again.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I wouldn't.
How long have you been working here?
Man, just a month.
Just a month?
Yeah. I've just been doing this job for like 9 months now.
Okay. How old are you?
24. I'm like the only female armorer in the game, and I just fucked up my whole entire career.
Have you studied armory, or did you go to classes, or how did you get into it?
My dad's one of the best armorers in the entire world, and he trained me, and I'm a fucking failure. Let's hit it.
You ready? Yeah, so it's these cars. Mine's actually the silver car over here.
Okay, my little fanny pack is right in front of that cop car on that thing, if you could bring it.
Okay.
Possibly.
What's in it?
Just my keys. My stuff. My ID.
Okay. Yeah, let me just figure out. Let me sit you in
You
here.
can just leave it, honestly. Yeah, my inhaler is in it.
Okay, do you need that?
My inhaler might be in the back of the cop car.
You know what? Let me... Sorry, we have so much gear. I'm not sure. Do you want a Gatorade? It's not open. It's been...
I'm alright.
Okay. So, I'll leave that there if you want it, okay? You can control the window. Joe! I have to hang out with you here, though, okay? Since my vehicle is... So, she doesn't want to be up in the cop car until they figure out transportation. We just let them know that I have her in here. She doesn't want to be.
This is the armor?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just going to hang out with it here?
Yeah.
For now?
Until they figure out what they want to do. But
Guitierrez?
yes.
Okay. So she wants to be transported over there?
Yeah, she wants
to. Not in a police car?
Right. Exactly. And she just doesn't want to be... Well, she doesn't want everybody to see her right now, so I have her back here. Okay. from New Mexico?
From out of state. From Arizona.
From Arizona? What part?
Walnut City, Arizona.
I actually don't think I know where that is. Let me know.
Can I call my mom?
Yeah, go ahead. Whoever you need to call. You know what's going on, right? Me and you are going to go to the office. Okay.
It's her, interview her, then they're going to transfer Baldwin, and then we'll interview him after.
Weird. So.
Anytime only. Okay.
Leave it there.
Okay, cool. So we have here, we use forms. And that's just what she had here, but I guess she went to go get them. So we're just going to get you those. And then just formality we have to do, okay?
Do you know if anyone ever got that fanny pack?
So right now it's technically inside the scene, so we can't quite grab it yet.
Okay, cool.
But you said it's black and gray?
No, it's just the gray one.
Just gray, okay. And it was on the cart?
Yeah.
Yes, so it'll be secured, and if it's not part of it, we'll get it back to you as soon as we can. So like I said, this is the rights that I just need to go over, and I'll read them to you as I do. If you understand them, you can signature or check out here, and then read the rest here, and if you agree, okay? So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law or other proceedings. You have the right to consult an attorney before making any statements or answering any questions. And you may have him or her present with you during questioning. You may have an attorney appointed to you to represent you if you cannot afford one, otherwise obtain one. Okay. You understand those? And if you wish to
I kind of would like an attorney.
You kind of like, what do you want to do?
I mean, just because the situation and everything, and their attorney already talked to me, and I just think I should probably have an attorney represent me.
Okay, before you make any statements or talk to us.
Do you know what attorney she's referring to?
There was an attorney that was at the ranch, but I don't know her name.
Okay.
Well, I can probably answer a few questions.
So at any time, so I'm gonna, again, you don't have to talk to us, and if you want to talk to your attorney, that's fine. If you want to answer some questions, you still could change your mind during this questioning. So it's up to you. If you want to talk to us and at some point you feel like maybe you want your attorney, you can, but you need to make the decision on what you want to do right now. If you want to talk to us,
How long would it take when you get here, I guess?
it's going to be you calling them and finding out.
Really? Okay. I don't know, their fucking attorney, I don't know. It's just like such a big company, you know.
Are you talking about with the production company?
Yeah. I don't want anything in this case to be fucked up for me as much as I possibly can.
So, no, you're fine, and that's why we go over these.
Yeah.
So you know your rights.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Is there an attorney I can call?
It would be a public defender. They might not. They might advise another day. It could go a longer process. I don't know.
Alright. I can answer some basic questions.
If you want to answer some basic questions, we could do that, and then if you at some point feel like it's
Right on, yeah.
And like I said, right now we are just interviewing you because you were there. You were there. You
Totally.
are in charge of
Yeah.
the armor.
Okay.
So you're okay with talking with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll start off with basic questions, okay? So you've already mentioned that you've been on set for 5 months now? On this particular set?
No, on this particular set, I've only been there 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm sorry, do you want the date and time?
Oh, yeah, please.
It's going to be 21.
I'm so sorry. How do you spell your first name? Hannah, Hannah.
And your last name?
Guitierrez, Gutierrez.
When's your date of birth?
April 28, 1997.
April
28.
97?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
24.
I just want you to be comfortable when you're talking with us, okay?
Okay.
So this set, you've been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this is, your primary job is handling the armor?
Yeah.
Can you go into detail about what you do?
I'm supposed to check the guns, and I load the guns, and I hand the guns off to the actor.
Okay. How long have you been doing this? Because you mentioned you've been on multiple sets.
Since about March, but I've been handling guns my whole life, pretty much.
So you're very familiar with guns. And this is your primary function. You go to different sets and you primarily handle these guns.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell us what happened today? When you started work, when you got there to work?
Yeah, I went to work. We got the guns out.
Who's we?
Me, my coworker Sarah, she helps me with the guns a little bit too. Yeah. And we got the guns out, we went to set, we had the guns on set. I dummied the guns up with the dummy rounds. And yeah, we were on set all day, nothing happened, and then we came back from lunch, and that happened.
So you got on set with the gun, with the dummy rounds about what time?
Like 7:30 probably.
Around 7:30 this morning?
Yeah, I didn't dummy the gun up until about a little before lunch, like an hour before lunch.
Last name, do you know?
Sarah's last name. I don't think she really worked with that gun that day, by the way. But Sarah Zachary, Zachry.
So you and Sarah, who has access to that? So when you got there this morning, where are the guns kept?
The guns are kept on the prop truck.
On the prop truck?
Yeah, and the dummies and everything kept on the prop truck.
Are the dummy rounds separate, contained than the gun? All in the truck?
Yeah, they're in their own box, and the guns are in the safe.
Okay. And who has access to the safe?
Sarah and I.
Just the two of you?
Yes.
What about the dummy rounds? Who has access to that?
Well, the dummy rounds, they were on the cart for lunch. Yeah, the dummy rounds were on the cart for lunch. All the ammo was on the cart for lunch.
Is there, okay, so you're saying dummy rounds and ammo, are there two separate things?
So there's blanks, my bad, not ammo, but there's blanks, the blanks look different. They shoot the stuff, and the dummies normally just have a little BB in them.
Okay. What is the purpose for the dummy rounds? Because you were loading those up this morning.
So the dummy rounds, they're meant to put in like the belts of the cowboys and everything, and like in the revolver you can see the if it's empty or not. So, yeah, I have to dummy them up if they're going to be, like, looking right at the camera.
Oh, okay, so you, just for show, the dummy rounds are just for show to make it look
Just
it's
for
full.
show, yeah.
Okay. But then the other rounds that you guys
The other
keep on
rounds,
seeing,
yeah, the other
shoot a
rounds,
BB.
yeah. They don't shoot a BB, no.
Oh.
No, they just shoot, like, they just open up and a little black powder comes out, and that's all. It's just a little black powder, and, yeah.
Is there live ammo that's kept on set?
No, never.
Okay.
So,
I hardly even go shooting with 45 ammo at all. I normally just use 22. So,
and so you got the guns this morning. You and Sarah are the only ones who have, is it a combination for the safe?
it is, yeah.
Okay, and you guys are the only ones who have that combination? Okay. But the rounds are...
They're in the truck, yeah. The truck gets pretty much locked up every night. I mean, not like padlocked, but just on set. Security.
Okay. Or do you guys have lunch? Does a lot of people just eat lunch there?
We all leave and we go back to base camp.
Okay. And you guys left the dummy rounds and the ammo, but it's not real ammo.
My bad, blanks. The blanks. Yeah, we'll go with blanks.
I'll use blanks.
Yeah.
Just so I also don't mix up in the confusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when you got the dummy rounds and the blanks this morning, what were you guys doing before lunch? Was that just
We were just,
with the dummies only, just...
yeah, just the dummies. We were just about to get into the blank stuff, and you know, like part of my job is checking the barrel to make sure nothing's in it, because that's how Brandon Lee died, you know.
Yeah, right.
So, like, that's what I checked for. I definitely checked this morning, and I was planning on checking again right after lunch before we got into all the shits, and I already started checking the other two guns to check in the thing for them, and none of them had any barrel obstructions. So, yeah.
So you check the gun, but do you check the blanks and the dummies as well?
I do check the dummies. I shook all of them, and they all showed that they were not hot, I guess you could say.
How can you tell the difference on the ammo, on the dummy rounds, or the blanks, I'm sorry. How can you tell the difference from the blanks and live, real ammunition?
A little ring. Like there's a little ring in there. Just rings. It rattles. It's like a little rattle.
When it's a blank?
Yeah, and then also there's ones that I have with holes in the side to show that there's nothing in them.
Okay. So what are these ones? They're the rings?
Yeah, these ones were the rings. There was one, I think, with a hole. Yeah.
Explain again what the ring is.
So, imagine if this...
Oh, okay. So just a noise.
So that's what I'm saying. So this one is exactly what looked like was in there.
Okay. And that one doesn't have any holes.
So that's, yeah. Honestly, that box of dummies might have some wonky ones in it. And we got that, I think, a week ago.
Who ordered them?
Well, we got them from from Seth, our, supplier and everything.
Okay.
But Seth borrowed them from someone. I don't know who.
Borrowed the runs that you have?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you know he borrowed them?
I don't know. That's what Sarah said. And then as soon as Sarah called Seth, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she talked to him or anything about this.
Okay.
You mean today, if she called him today and already talked to him, or when?
I hear the police officer told her to stop talking to me.
Okay.
So I don't really know what happened with that. But yeah, so.
Okay. Are you aware of a time or know if something like that can be dysfunctional or...
I mean, overall, these are some weird, what we're dealing with are, explosives. It is there's always like a chance of like, you know, safety to be compromised, and that's the issue, and that's what I'm supposed to watch out for on set, and yeah.
What did Ms. Gutierrez just say? What she's supposed to watch out for on set?
The ammunition, pretty much.
I'm going to back it up just a few seconds.
Anything about this?
Okay. You mean today, if she called him today or not, I talked to him, or when?
I don't. I know she called him, but I didn't get to hear the police officer told her to stop talking to me.
Okay.
So I don't really know what happened with that. But yeah, so.
Okay. Are you aware of a time or know if something like that can be dysfunctional, or?
I mean, you know, like, overall, these are some weird, like, what we're dealing with are, like, you know, explosives. There's always, like, a chance of, like, you know, safety to be compromised, and that's the issue, and that's what I'm supposed to watch out for on set, and, yeah.
Okay.
But, I've never really I've heard of blanks before with the primer, you know, that's the only time I've ever heard of them, which is why I'm wondering if it was kind of one of the older ones, because that kind of stopped after that whole Brandon Lee situation, but I'm not really sure.
So Seth orders all of your rounds.
Yeah.
And is there anybody else that's involved in that?
I couldn't really say.
Okay.
I just get what I get, and I'm told not to bitch a fit. Yeah.
Do you know who the manufacturer is of these?
No.
Do you know what the box looks like?
Yeah, there's the boxes on the cart.
Okay.
It says dummy rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Corporal, did Ms. Gutierrez just tell you where you could find the box of dummy rounds that she was pulling from?
Yeah, she said it was on the cart.
Okay. And is that consistent with what you saw in Mr. Benavidez' video?
In his lapel video, she grabbed them from the cart, however, handed them directly to Lieutenant Benavidez.
Okay, so somewhat consistent.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
Just that's ordered him, or?
No, Seth is, he's had armor on for The Walking Dead. He was on that show for 10 years.
But he's also familiar about getting these.
Yeah, Seth is, he pretty much is teaching me everything, other than my father.
Has anyone ever allowed live ammo on set?
No one.
Okay. What's your guys' protocol for the ammo?
Protocol.
Like, what do you have in place? You know, are you supposed to check them every day? How often?
Basically, like, you know, our protocol for the ammo is, like, you know, I have to know load sizes, I have to know, like, who's in the proximity, if it's a child, if it's a horse. And my protocol really is a lot of checking for barrel obstructions, mostly because that's where a lot of mistakes get made, is like just blanks behind something, and a lot of guns get thrown into, like, dropped in rocks, you know, and rocks get into the barrel and fly out and shit. So my shit is mostly just checking the barrel and everything, and then making sure the dummies are dummies. Yeah, and I've never really had any that didn't sound like dummies.
Okay. When you looked at the gun, when Dave brought it back to you after the incident, did it look like it was the same gun when you handed it to Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I would be able to tell too by the circling markings on the bottom of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what those markings are?
They're kind of like little fingernail marks, but like a little more dented.
Okay. Okay, so how many guns were pulled out after lunch?
Like 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Miller has 2. Ooh, maybe, okay, wait. Miller has 2. The 2 officers have 2, and then Russ has 1, and then there's 3 long guns out, so.
Okay, sorry. Miller has 2, the officers have 2.
Yeah.
Who else?
Russ has 1. That was the one that was discharged. And, yeah. That, and then we had 3 long guns that were on the cart. A shotgun and a rifle. 2 shotguns and a rifle.
And you're in charge of watching all of these?
Yeah.
2, 4, hold on, 3, 8, okay. And you said Rust?
Yes, Rust is the character. He's Alec Baldwin.
Okay. And you handed it directly to him? Or did you hand it to Dave?
I handed it to Dave after lunch.
And then Dave gave it to...
Yeah.
Do you
Alec was in there.
Do you know who all was inside the building during the incident?
Some new camera people we got. Our camera crew just quit last night.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole fucking crew, except for like 1 dude that stayed. Yeah, and then the DP, the director.
Do you know anybody's name?
Halyna is the DP, she got shot. The director is Joel,
And
he
you
got
said-
shot.
I'm sorry, so DP?
Director of photography.
Okay. And that was Halyna?
Mm-hmm.
Helena?
I'm not really sure how to spell it. It's kind of Russian.
Do you know her last name?
No.
And you said Joel, and he's another director?
Yeah, Joel.
And you said that he was also shot?
Yeah, which is just fucking mind-boggling to me. Yeah, both of them got shot.
How many rounds or...
I heard one.
You just heard one?
I heard one. So it must have went through one and somehow hit the other. Which is fucking insane.
Okay. Do you know anybody else that was inside?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
Alec, right?
Yeah, Alec was inside. Fuck yeah. God, I hate myself for that.
And what about Dave?
Yeah, Dave was inside.
Do you know Dave's last name?
It's on the call sheet. Hannah Hutchins. Halyna. And then Hutchins.
She was another person that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have Halyna, Joel. Do you know Joel's last name?
Joel Souza, Souza.
Okay. Alec, Dave, anybody else inside?
Well, her Steadicam operator was inside. His name is Reed Russell, ReidRussel. He's a camera guy.
Okay.
So,
Did they identify the people that was inside?
She was...
yeah.
I mean, I think of this just because, and I don't care about north or that, but, so where we were parked, here's the back of the church, that was
Where
the front.
the cars, where you were parked?
Yeah, we were parked over here. So the church, across the main entrance to that would have been over here. We were parked over
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Where was your car? Because I don't think there was doors here or on this side of the building.
So there's a door here,
Okay.
and my cart was approximately over here by a little black tent where producers or fucking cast or anyone would chill under, really.
Okay, and then that door's over here. So can you see the front, that door from where you were standing?
Yeah.
And you could see Dave the whole time on his way?
On his way.
Corporal.
Well, no, I went inside to hand him the gun.
Oh,
he was standing in pretty much.
Okay, so you didn't just hand it and then he walked off? And
No, yeah, I handed it to Dave with the camera people there.
Okay. But you were close to the door when you handed it?
I was inside for a second, and then I went back out because, yeah.
They tell you to get out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I'm just curious because of the whole transferring from one person to another of the gun.
Yeah.
So he's the one who gives it directly to Alec. Here's a picture, and I just want to see if this is something that would have come out of one of these.
Totally.
It wouldn't be a real live gun, ammo.
So that looks like a blank one, which I'm pretty sure, because normally the blank ones, like, they have kind of this little line right there, and I'm pretty sure the regular ones don't.
Okay.
So that would be in the blanks all the time.
That was what was pulled out of the shoulder.
Oh my God, poor Halyna.
So that's why they were thinking it could be an actual live round at this point.
Really?
Yeah. Does that look like it would have been a live round to you?
Well, honestly, if we had my extractor, we could pull this out and check it, but I don't know.
It actually looks so cool on that.
Yeah, I don't know, because look at that line. That's kind of a distinct thing. I think that's mostly for dummies. And that might be a regular live round, though.
It looks pretty, that's what they were thinking, it could be a live round.
Holy fuck.
I just think you said, and I think that's why there's a protocol, because of Lee, when all that happened on set too. Was there anything that stuck out of ordinary today to you?
No, I mean, just the whole camera crew quit. That's all. So we were like super behind and everything.
When did the camera crew quit?
Yesterday.
So is there a reason?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't think that they would be involved in that.
Well,
yeah.
Is there because maybe people were disgruntled?
Oh, there was definitely some bickering. But I don't, yeah. I highly doubt that they were able to switch any rounds, and especially getting a 45 round is like stupid hard right now. And at least, yeah.
Was there any of that towards Joel, or did anybody have any issues with Joel, and what was the other one?
I don't believe anyone had issues with Joel.
Okay, what was
Halyna. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know too much about her. She's definitely a strong personality, that's all.
But there's nobody that you could think of that might have any anger?
I couldn't really say that anyone would be, like, that angry. Like, you know, we're on a film set. Everybody's always pissed off at each other a little bit. We're together for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to not beef with people a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting that the whole camera crew quit yesterday, and then
that is pretty
something happens like this today. Would somebody want to maybe, or they could even have an issue with Alec, if somebody wants to disrupt the filming of this movie. Is that something that you could think of?
I don't know. I can't really say for sure, and I wouldn't want to think that about anybody on that set personally.
You really don't want to think that about anybody.
Never.
But
no. Yeah, I can't think of like any one person. I couldn't really think of a situation that would require, like, you know, I don't know, almost killing somebody.
Well, I mean, it happened. I mean,
yeah.
You keep mentioning it was the Crow when that happened.
Yeah, that was scary, man.
These things happen with somebody.
I know, I can't believe I'm like the last thing like this to happen since the Crow.
And it's
my own fucking worst nightmare.
Well, I think right now they're good, but again, that's why, unfortunately, you were there right away. It's like, oh, it's the person who is in charge of all these.
Totally.
And that's why we wanted to talk to you, was one of the main ones, because, yeah, you're in charge of it, but that's also why would you put yourself in that predicament?
Yeah.
You know, so would it be possible?
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe there was just perhaps a bad round in that box.
Well, a couple of bad rounds.
Possibly.
Because there wasn't one round that went off.
What? There was one, right?
How did... Because the people get shot.
No, so there was only one round that went off, and I must have went through Joel somehow and fucking hit Halyna, and I'm like flabbergasted by this. I can't fucking imagine how that happened, but I heard one shot.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard one shot, and honestly, like, I opened up the gun, I checked the rest of them, only one of these was gone, and the rest were fine.
I wish we could. This one has a different top than this one. This is the one that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're all, I mean, like, you know, they all kind of vary a little bit. That's just the thing about them. They all vary a little bit. Yeah.
Tell me about what happened yesterday. Did something happen, or did they just walked off set and said,
I have no idea. I think at the end of the night, they all quit. The camera crew always bickered a lot, to be honest. Like, a lot of, I don't know, just animosity, I guess, or them with the grits, everybody, yeah, that whole, it's almost unpleasant to be inside there, just because it's so, like, toxic. Yeah. So, COVID, yeah, I try to stay out, and then I was definitely on the sides watching, and they weren't supposed to be pulling the hammer back or anything. Like, it was just supposed to be in the shot. And so I don't know
why it was pulled back.
I don't know what, yeah. I mean, if they wanted it pulled back, like, that's fine. I had no idea about it, you know. But even then, it shouldn't have gone on. Yeah, so that's why I was all like, okay, like, it's right there, you know. I stand right by whenever there's gunfire. I'm still there whenever the shit's there, but I'm not usually directly inside the room just because they don't find it necessary.
Yeah, well, and that's why it's like, they're not supposed to pull the hammer back, but it still is a prop gun or prop.
It's a real gun. It's a real fucking gun.
But your prop
yeah.
is set.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. I know. I don't know. I wish I would have checked it more.
Is there anything that you think could have happened?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like I said, that box was shown there for lunch. I will say it is hard to get 45 ammo. You know, ammo's super expensive right now, and ever since the election, pretty much all ammo's been, like, bought up a ton. I'm sure you guys know as a police force.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking, you had mentioned when you were loading, dumbing it up, one of the 6 rounds didn't fit in, correct? And you had to clean it.
Yeah.
Did that seem odd to you?
No, that didn't really seem that odd. That gun had been dropped a lot in the dirt previous before that. Yeah. So it might have just been a little gunky. And then after I cleaned it out, like, it fit right in.
Okay.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Does that usually happen?
Does that usually happen? I mean, every now and then. Yeah.
You didn't think that it could have been the round itself that was the reason why it was initially given?
You know, I don't think so, because, like, these are dummies and everything, and they slide out a little easier, per se, but, yeah, I don't think that would have been a thing. Sometimes they do just get stuck because, like, the guns are a little dirty. Done shooting after this, and it's going to be smooth sailing.
So the picture of the round that I showed you, you think it could have been from the
dummies? Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember really if I got, if they were from the box or if they were from, on top of we have a cart, you know, and we have several dummies just around. Some come out of the box, but they're all out of boxes, really, like, you know. But yeah, might have just been one of the ones on the cart. But it should be, yeah.
And that's your car. Nobody else puts anything else on it.
Not really. I mean, you know,
but it is possible.
It is possible.
A lot of people have access to your car.
Yeah.
So, as you're loading it, do you every round?
Yeah.
And you did it on this time too?
I did it.
Okay. But that one round, you weren't sure if it was fresh out of the box or just laying on the cart?
Honestly, I don't think, like, if it didn't rattle, I want to put it in.
Okay. And so you heard the rattle? Okay.
Yeah, I checked all 6 of them for a rattle.
Okay. I guess sometimes happen, but just that the whole crew quits the day before and then something like this happens.
I don't know. I totally feel like this was just a fucking really fucked up accident.
That's how you feel?
Yeah. I wouldn't think that anyone on that film set is that malicious.
I mean, I just have to ask you.
Yeah, no,
because
totally.
it is something.
Well, yeah.
What about Sarah? How much do you know about her? How long have you worked with her?
She's like the nicest little Christian girl ever.
Okay.
We're in a extractor in Armor.
So,
An extractor?
yeah.
For those?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take one of these real quick, okay?
Totally.
I'll be back in just a minute.
And so just to be clear, the one that you had seen, that you had pulled out, looks like which one?
Mostly like that one.
Okay.
With the, yeah, except when I saw it, it was punctured. So,
It wasn't
and
missing it.
when I took it out, yeah, it was punctured, so.
Okay. I'm going to have you come in here, okay?
Unless you have anything else that you think you missed or want to add. I'm going to hold on to these, okay? Actually, I'm going to hold on to them.
Okay.
Just one more clarification. When you got the gun backhanded to you, had someone already opened it too, or you did all the manipulating of it?
I did all the manipulating.
So Dave just literally just handed you the gun.
Handed it to me.
And it was still closed? It was still closed. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, you want to grab that? There's a trash right there.
Yeah, thank you.
I totally had you guys mixed up. Okay.
What do you think? You
I
want
was
it?
kind of like out of it.
I can't tell what.
There you go. There you go.
Alright, let's do this. Yeah. Where's Alex at? Sam? I said, where's Alex at? I'm Alex.
Oh, really? Wait. The other one was Sam?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. She was assisting. I'm actually primary on this. And
Okay, I totally had you guys mixed up.
okay. I was kind of like out of it, so yeah. Oh, I think everybody was a little bit that day.
Yeah.
So as formality, she signed this the first night, okay? I'm gonna have you do it again tonight, just that way we're all in understanding. I know your attorney's here. This is your statement of rights, okay?
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Do I check all of these?
Yeah, initial them for me.
Okay.
I like your necklace.
Thank you. It's actually a locket.
Oh, it's labeled.
Okay.
Oh, what's the date?
It was the 9th. I don't even know what to do with this year anymore.
Yeah,
Do you want to sign as one of the witnesses, and I'll sign as the other? She's fancy pens and all. Can make some of those here that way. If anybody asks, you can just say.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, everything.
All right, Hannah, so let's start out. I'm going to kind of go over your experience again, okay? So can you tell me your years of experience as an armorer?
Okay, so pretty much mostly really started taking on this armor job in March with my dad. We did the movie Murder at Immigrant Gulch together on the same team. I was his assistant. And then I did my own job as head armor on the Old Way after that. And then after that, I did this, you know. And before that, I had gone on a couple of things with my dad, mostly doing production assistant work, but also still kind of watching him and still kind of learning from him on the side.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I did Magnificent Seven, like back in 2015, and we were out there for like 2 months, and I was learning a lot from him then too.
okay, so pretty much just assisting him
Yeah,
from 2015 until...
Yeah, pretty much. And also, well, not like consistently either, because I was in college for a lot of that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so for a lot of before this, I was in college, so not really able to do the whole film set thing.
Okay, what did you go to college for?
I went to college for communications and film.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also took a lot of art classes too.
So how many productions now do you have under your belt?
Through cinema, whatchamacallit, about 7.
7.
Yeah, and then also I did a bunch in college, you know.
And then how many with you as head armor?
Head armor, just 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was
This, Russ, and the Old Way, yeah.
Okay. How long did you spend on the Old Way?
We did that for a month and a week.
Oh, so like not that much time.
Not that much time. No. But it was only me doing the guns on it, so it was me, 22 guns, doing all of the loading and everything myself.
Okay. What about any official training that you've done?
Official training? Not really much official training.
So just...
I was planning on getting my concealed carry permit pretty soon, but haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. For what you do as an armorer, does this job require to use like specific tools when you're doing inspections on weapons?
So I don't really do the inspections on weapons too much. I'm not a gunsmith by any means, you know. I get them from Seth, like, you know, maintenance them and everything. I was cleaning a couple of them, and a couple of them did have some issues that I couldn't figure out, so I sent them back to Seth, and he sent them back to me, and they were okay.
Okay. So any type of, like, malfunction or anything that you came across would go?
Yeah.
And you're talking about Seth Kenny, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I sent back one of the guns because the hammer was pulled back, and it wouldn't release back down, and I don't know, he said something about I cleaned it wrong or something. I'm not sure, but I cleaned 17 other pistols that day, so I don't know how I did that one wrong.
Okay. Do you remember which one that was?
You know, that was actually one of Miller's guns, and not related to the incident really, but Miller was one of the deputies, and just one of his, the hammer got stuck back, and I've never encountered that before, so went ahead and sent it back.
Okay. So as far as like the movie productions go, do they require you to have any certifications to work? And it can be like,
you know,
anything.
I'm not really sure entirely, just because most of the jobs I've gotten have just been like through word of mouth and everything, or like, you know, Seth works on getting them for me, or my dad gets them for me, or my dad got me on as his assistant the first time, you know, so I'm not really sure entirely what they are looking for. I know that they get a firearms license and everything, and a license for the area to shoot on and everything, but they usually get that. I don't even get that usually, so okay. I'm not really sure in terms of what else. I know that Seth always tells me that I'm on his license to work with these weapons, and that's all I really know.
And that's kind of the same with Sarah, right?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what that's ever meant. Seth always just says Hannah and Sarah are on my license.
Okay. But as far as, like, you go, there's no...
no one really asks about much of that.
Like, you don't have to take safety classes in regards to anything with movie sets.
So that's the thing. I was actually just getting into the union, and with the union and everything, because on this set they hired me non-union. But normally with the unions, you take a safety course, you take a sexual harassment course, and you take a few different things. And I had, like, literally just gotten the paperwork and everything to get in that. And you need 30 union days on a union show before you can do that. And so I had 22 before this job. And so a lot of the days from this job were going to count towards that.
Okay.
But, yeah, so I wasn't even able to get that. But for other than that, like, the whole industry doesn't really require anything. It's mostly just California or union, and I wasn't union.
Okay. And so Russ wasn't like, you know, like I obviously have to have a cert to be a cop.
Yeah, no,
and
totally.
Take, like, you know, every year I got to take, like, driving courses and shooting courses and everything like that.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, Russ didn't really ask me anything about that. They kind of just conferred it all through Seth.
Okay. So I heard that you were hired to do a couple jobs on this set.
Yes.
Can you talk about or tell me about both of them?
Okay, so, like originally when I got on the set, you know, I have always done armor kind of really separate from props. Like, I'm always with props, but we do it ourselves, me and my dad, and props doesn't really interfere. This is the only job that I've taken where I was heavily incorporated into props, and it's because originally they had hired me for armor and key prop assistant. And that's not just like prop assistant, that's the key prop assistant. So that means more responsibility. That means I'm Sarah's second.
Okay.
In a lot of cases. So if there's an issue with props, you would go to Sarah, and then if there's an issue where Sarah can't, you know, isn't there, then it goes to me, and then we have our assistant, Nicole. So I had, my job is the armor, and originally I thought that I was mostly going to be doing my armor job and kind of left alone to do that, but after the first week, I got talked to by some people in production, and they were told that I wasn't really pulling my weight in props. So basically I was told that I needed to shift my focus less on armor and more on props.
Who did they expect to take on the armor role if it wasn't your...
I don't know. They told me, they said, yeah, we hear that you're taking your armor job very seriously, but we need you to support props right now because props is also struggling. And I was like, okay, I'll try my best to do that. And they said, normally before that I would kind of just hang out in the prop truck and, like, you know, work on the guns and just kind of be in there doing my own stuff if there weren't any guns on set. But after that, they had told me, like, no, we want you on set. We want you as a present on set for props.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was split up quite a bit.
Can you give me some examples of what you would do, like, when you were assisting props?
Okay, yeah. So normally, you know, I kind of, like, for the saloon scene, I would just kind of be standing there, you know, watching over the guns and everything, checking them for the actors as I brought them into the actors. That's just my job as the armor. With the saloon and everything, I'm pouring drinks for props. I'm running outside and rolling cigarettes. I'm, like, doing several different things and grabbing several different props and setting props up constantly. And so, yeah, when some scenes aren't exactly super prop heavy and sometimes they're just kind of gun heavy, and so in that case I can, like, focus more on the guns, but sometimes I was split between running the guns and also dealing with the props. But Nicole, the assistant, tried to help alleviate that a little bit, but not every, you know, she was pretty green, so had to step in a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly I thought that I was there doing props at the beginning just to help find everything, because we got hired on a week before. Normally you hire the prop master a month in advance. Sarah got brought on a week before. I got brought on a little after her. And so we were just kind of running around that first week trying to find props. And then I thought after that, you know, after she got the assistant, I'd be able to focus more on the guns. But then production talked to me and said that I needed to focus more on props. So.
Okay. And who from production?
Gabrielle Pickle, and also the head of the art department, Brian. Mostly, yeah, Sarah just said that I couldn't really support props in the way needed, so they were talking about possibly taking, I was talking to them and I was like, well, do you not want me to do props at all in this case and just focus on the guns? And they were like, no, like we don't want Nicole stepping up and taking your position. We want you to step into this position, and we think it's a great opportunity for you. But really, I just got to do 2 jobs for less pay.
Yeah. How did you feel about the added responsibility?
You know, it was a lot, but I'm super eager, and when someone kind of says, like, you know, you can do this, like, then I'm just like, okay, now I have to show them, like, I can do this, you know? So ultimately, it was frustrating, but at the same time, I was like, all right, got to go and kick ass and props now, I guess, too.
Yeah. Did you ever have, like, any time that specifically pointed out to you where you felt overwhelmed by doing props?
Well, you know, props, we were told a lot, you know, that we were kind of lagging, and, like, the Wranglers would kind of shit on us for not propping up horses soon enough, or, like, not getting actors propped up soon enough, so props was definitely struggling. And then after that talk I had with Brian, I went to Sarah and I was like, I'm not like pulling my weight, you know? And I tried to talk to her about it, and she was like, yeah, I didn't mean to like be a jerk about it. I just wanted to let them know that I needed more help in the department. And so we talked about it, and I was like, well, that's cool. Just maybe next time go ahead and talk to me first before going to Brian and Gabrielle.
Do you know why they didn't utilize Nicole more?
They, well, we definitely did utilize Nicole, but ultimately I have a very strong personality, and also a lot of the times, like, my personality would even be stronger than Sarah's in a lot of respects, and a lot of people were already kind of gaining respect for me, like, in terms of, like, you know, the Wranglers and everything, and I'm just good at meshing with other departments, you know, so they wanted me on set more just to kind of, you know, be a presence of props and really, you know, kind of just be a demanding force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever express to them at any point if you felt overwhelmed? Or
after that, you know, I thought we were doing pretty good of managing both. There were some days, you know, where I would talk to Sarah and I was like, she would be like, could you come out here and see what's going on with me? And I was like, no, dude, I need to, like, focus on guns, and I need to pull guns for later on. And she would be like, well, you're the second. I think you should be here with me on set to watch this. And I was like, there's not a lot of props out there. I'm going to be here doing the guns.
Okay.
So there was a couple of times that I also kind of really held my ground on not, you know, spreading myself too incredibly thin.
Or getting overrun by others.
Yeah, exactly. Because you kind of just have to, you know. But ultimately, with higher positions, sometimes you get ran over.
Okay. Who hired you for Rust?
I believe, I'm not really sure. Seth just texted me and he was like, you got the job, prop assistant, so-and-so. I sent him my resume, and they, Sarah sent it in, and I think Roe approved it, and yeah, so Sarah hired me, Roe approved it.
Okay, so it's not like a typical hiring process for a job where you have to go in and...
Yeah, no, there's no real interviews, like, any time in film. Film is a very weird industry.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, by all means. I think it's so weird how, like, secretive it is almost, you know, like it's really hard to get on anything unless you know somebody, and if you stop working for a while, it's like almost hard to jump back in it. Yeah. It's really weird. You can't just like look up like film jobs in your area and then go and apply. That's not a thing. Yeah. I really wish it was kind of like that. That would probably, that'd be a lot better. But right now there's just such a media surge, especially that, you know, they're just kind of getting on anyone that they can bring really, because the media surge with all of these different like the networks and everything coming out with their own little internet things, it's making everything like boom right now like crazy.
Yeah. I know you had talked about how you were in the process of becoming a union member.
Yeah.
With which union?
I was working on becoming a union member with the local 44.
Okay.
That's the oldest and longest established union, and it's also the one that my dad's a part of, so.
Is that like international or?
I'm not really entirely sure. I know it's mostly California. You know, each union is kind of specific to the area. Yeah, I think that one is the most put together one, and it's definitely the most active one, which is why I was trying to be a part of it. And I had already actually started the like kind of OSHA safety one a little bit after this actually, so I had already been starting that because I just got in like a little bit before that into the program.
Okay. So as far as your employment on Rust, were you hired on a contract, or how? How do you determine?
I was hired on a contract, yeah. You know. The contract wasn't really specific to the job, per se. The contract was just like regular employee contract. Jason has a copy of it.
Okay. Is there any way I can get a copy?
Sure, yeah, I'll send that.
Yeah.
Besides you and Sarah and Nicole, were there any other armorers or prop masters or anybody brought onto the set at any time?
I don't believe so. Not anyone brought on the set. I don't really know if Seth ever came to set, but he was the mentor on the paperwork and everything, and he was like where we got most of our stuff from.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no one else ever worked with you guys? They didn't do like a late hire?
Oh, so they did bring in one girl for swing shift, but I don't even know if she ever made it to set or if she just met up with Sarah outside of set.
Okay.
But yeah, we had finally, week 2 is coming around, and we told them like it's getting crazy busy. We can't have Sarah leaving set to go find these things, so they brought in a day player that could run around and go find things for us.
Okay.
Because before that, Sarah had to leave set a lot of the time. Oh, that also contributed to spreading us thin for a little while there. That's why they brought in the third person, because ultimately Sarah would have to leave set pretty much every day for several hours, and then it would just be me out there.
And what would Sarah go do at that time?
Sarah would go try to find props, because with them bringing her in a week, you know, it's hard to find like a weird Indian axe, you know, like there's a bunch of weird, obscure things for a period piece that are super hard to find. So she would go try to find them, meet up with other prop masters in the area and see if they had them.
Do you know who that fourth was?
You know, I think her name was Jade.
Jade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was hoping for her to come more on set, but yeah, they just hired her as a day player every now and then.
Okay. Okay, so as far as, and I know some of this that we've talked about before, some of it might be a little bit redundant.
It's okay.
But just trying to cover all bases. So, again, who provides the ammo?
So as far as I'm concerned, me and Sarah, we went together and we picked up the ammunition and all the weapons and my leathers from Seth Kinney in Albuquerque at his shop. Yeah, we got 2 boxes of ammo, I'm pretty sure, that day. And then as we went on in the show, there were a couple of times that we needed more. So Sarah and I would text him, you know, that we needed more, and occasionally Sarah brought in more ammo from Seth.
Okay. Those 2 boxes that were originally supplied, were they blanks or dummies?
Originally supplied.
You said that you picked up 2 boxes of ammo.
Oh, yeah, so I think there
you
were...
mean like boxes, like the white boxes?
No, they were like bigger boxes, for sure. Yeah, no, a lot of them were, there wasn't a lot of dummies in those really much at all. There were some dummies, you know, like obscure dummies that we couldn't really get, like the 50-70 rounds, you know. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Those are big rounds. They go in the trapdoor. So we had some of those dummies with it. But in terms of 45 long Colt dummies, I don't think there was a lot of dummies in there. And so I asked Seth about it, and I said, hey, like, where's all the long Colt dummies? Because the 45, you know, 45 ammo is, like, different than 45 long Colt. So we didn't exactly, I couldn't find that. So he told me to check the dummies that I had from the last show because he got me those ones and everything. And so I went back through a bag that I had. This bag had like a bunch of loose dummies in it. And I went through and I checked all of them and I put them into 2 boxes. And so we had 2 boxes of 45 long Colt dummies that were mine from the last show.
So originally. Cage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had just brought those off of the old way and they were in my car for like 2 weeks. I jumped right off of the old way into this. I was barely home for like a week. So, yeah.
But he told you to check your supplies.
Yeah.
And what you had to take it.
Yeah.
So he authorized you to bring...
He authorized me to bring, dummies.
Okay.
And then also, there was one time where he didn't give us any eighth loads, and I had 1 box of eighth loads, and so I was like...
So, Corporal, just to be clear, what we just heard, did Ms. Gutierrez tell you that she brought 2 boxes of dummies onto the set of Rust that she had left over from the old way?
Yes.
And did she also explain that they were loose in a bag in her car and they had been there for 2 weeks?
That's correct.
And did she explain that she took them out of the bag and put them in boxes?
Yes.
I'm gonna use my box of eighth loads, put it on the invoice, and I would have received money for that.
For blanks.
For blanks, yeah. Eighth load blanks.
Okay. Did you ever get recompensated for this?
No, I don't really plan on it, given the circumstances, because usually that goes through Seth, and then Seth kicks me down with whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how many rounds, and 2 boxes is, you know, kind of hard for us to, we're just trying to understand, so how many rounds would you say were supplied at the beginning?
You know, mind if I check my phone really quick? I think Seth, like, sent me a picture of, like, it written on cardboard or something.
Okay.
Or actually, if you look at the boxes, I think the boxes...
On the flap?
Yeah, on the flap should say it.
Okay.
Did you see that at all?
Yeah. I don't.
That's okay, that's what Seth showed me. So that same thing, that's what should have all been in there.
Okay. And so you and Sarah picked it up at the beginning of production.
Yeah.
From Albuquerque, brought it to set, and then...
Yeah, but we couldn't exactly bring it to set right away because they hadn't had the prop truck ready for us, so we had to leave it. You know, she had the guns in her car in Albuquerque. I had the ammo in my trunk at the hotel, and then we just took them to set the next day.
Okay, so it was less than
overnight, yeah, just overnight.
It was like multiple days that's
multiple days of what?
I was just going to say, for Sarah to keep all those in her vehicle in Albuquerque, that's a bold move.
Well, and it was only one night, and she had a garage.
Okay.
So that's why we ultimately, she was like, do you want them to go with you or me? And I was like, you have a garage, you know.
Albuquerque, though.
Oh, I know. I told her. Sonny was all like, get those and get out. And I was like, hell yeah.
So when you guys brought additional rounds on the set, or additional boxes, or needed more, how did those get delivered?
Sarah brought them in most of the time. I never saw Seth after the first time that I saw him before the show.
Okay. So did Sarah, do you know if she went and picked them up from Albuquerque, or how did she get them?
She lived in Albuquerque, so most of the time she would just run and grab them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she got any more from anyone else. I had heard that some of the dummies were borrowed from someone. I don't know. She said, don't lose any of these because we have to give them back. And I was like, okay, they fall out of the gun belt and everything, but I'll try not to lose them.
Okay. And then how much did you supply of your own?
Of my own dummies?
Yeah.
Just the 2. And we mostly went through those right away just because 2 boxes, 2 of the little boxes. Not like big boxes, just the little boxes. And yeah, I had 2 of those, and most of mine had the no primer caps, the ones I showed you, remember?
Is it the ones that are like indented in?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of those were mine, and then also I had a multitude of the ones with holes and the ones you shake, so yeah. And I checked those all, and I put them into 2 things.
Okay.
Myself, yeah.
Do you remember what those boxes look like?
Yeah, I do. They usually say JS on them.
Okay.
This is one that my dad sent me. And mine are usually beat up pretty bad. Like they're very dirty and gross, usually.
Okay. Do you know what the JS stands for in them?
Joe Swanson.
Okay. Have you met Joe?
I have not, but him and my dad are pretty good friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as ammo goes, who has access?
They stay in the truck. Like, the only thing that's in the safe is the guns. So, yeah, pretty much, I don't know if they locked the prop truck at night or what happened with that, but yeah, so pretty much just me, Nicole, Sarah, and the first week we did share that prop truck with locations.
Okay.
But other than that, the prop truck, would kind of be open most days just because we're running in and out of there, and sometimes, ammo is underneath on our cart, just chilling there usually.
Like on the floor of the
On
shelf?
the bottom, no, of the cart.
Okay, on the second shelf?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I usually try to keep it down there.
So all the ammo is pretty much out in the open?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, unless it wasn't, taken out directly of the boxes or anything, then yeah, the ones that are out there are out in the open pretty much regularly.
Okay, and they never get locked up in a safe?
No.
Okay. Were all the guns provided by Seth?
Yes.
And who has access to the guns?
Sarah and I believe Nicole kind of knew the code, but I don't think she remembered it most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she ever remove the guns from the safe?
I had her put them away sometimes.
Okay.
Mostly just because I couldn't leave set.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does anybody watch her do that?
No, not really.
Is she allowed to?
Mostly somebody has to lock them up, and they shouldn't be on set, so, Sarah or I would give her permission to go over there and just put them in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's something that you guys are allowed to do, is give someone else permission to lock
I would
them
think
up.
for a prop assistant, yeah.
Okay.
She only put them away ever.
So who all has the ability to lock the safe?
I mean, anyone that has arms, can close it,
Is that you don't have to punch in the code again to lock it?
No.
So you turn the knob and it's done?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the truck? Who has the ability to lock the truck?
None of us lock the truck ever. We figured that's kind of like the transpo's job. We don't have locks for the trucks normally. I know some prop masters lock up their own trucks, but yeah, not really sure. We kind of just closed ours up every day.
Okay. Do you know?
I don't know if transpo ever locked it.
Okay. Do you know who was in charge of that truck?
Not specifically.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
It was a male, though?
Yeah.
Can you describe him?
He was a sweet old Hispanic man with a nice mustache.
Okay. Heavy set, midweight?
Midweight.
And he was the one primarily in charge of that truck?
Towards like the second week, yeah. Before that, we kind of just had random people moving it, and then eventually he got assigned to us pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the morning when you got there, was it ever locked up?
No.
Okay. So you just walk in
and pull the handle.
Okay. What about the back of it? I know it's got one of those big...
Yeah, that's what we normally did. Yeah, we just closed up the side and we would unlock the handle. We figured it was usually getting watched by security.
Do they just have security, and it's okay if you don't know, but do they just have security at that front gate there, or do they have...
I know that I've seen some security around other parts of set, like just in a car, but that was mostly after the incident and everything, and it was just a car near the church.
Okay.
So that's really all I know about the security measures.
Right. So you'd say, as far as ammo goes, it is common to have it outside of that safe?
Yeah, no, it's super common to have it outside of the safe.
Okay. Who loads the ammo into the guns?
Me and Sarah.
Okay, you both load them.
Yeah.
And who loads ammo into, like, the bandoliers or the belts and...
That's me and Sarah again. I think Nicole helped us a couple of times shaking them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she ever, like, actually load them, or did she just shake them and say they're good?
And she would shake them and put them into the belt with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how often, or should I say, when did you guys put the ammo in the bandoliers?
A lot of them already had it in there. So, from the last Nick Cage set and everything. So, still check those ones out and everything, but we, of course, had a couple more that we had to, like, switch around and everything. So, mostly the whole first week, we were switching them around. And then after that, we did have a couple more characters come in with different, waist sizes, so we would have to, like, put them in other belts, too.
So some of these belts already had rounds in them?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember which ones?
No. They mostly got switched around a lot, and a lot of them fell out pretty regularly out of the
rounds in them?
Yeah. Okay. The dummy rounds would fall out sometimes just because when they're riding the horses, they jiggle out.
Okay.
So you regularly have to put more in them.
So since some of this ammo came from another production, was the ammo in those belts ever checked?
Yeah.
So you guys physically removed them from the belts?
Yeah.
And checked them?
Yes.
Okay. And who all did the checking?
That was me. That was involved in the 2 boxes that I did.
At the beginning?
Yes.
All right. So when ammo's not being used, then, does it ever go back in a box? Does it stay?
When ammo's not being used, if it's about to be used, it's there on the bottom of the cart. Like, if we're going to get into it later that day, we don't really have time to run back to the truck. So we usually keep it right there if we're shooting that day. If we're not shooting that day, it doesn't really come on set. I'll usually bring, like, maybe a box of quarter loads just in case they randomly decide that they want to shoot something, because they'll change their minds last minute, and then you have to be prepared for that.
Who's they?
Directors, actors, whoever just, like, feels like, maybe I should be shooting right now, kind of.
Okay. So when you go to unload the belts or the guns, anything of the sort, does it go back in a box?
The belts?
The ammo?
We don't ever take, once the dummies are on the belt, they stay on the belt, and the belts just get hung in the prop truck.
Okay.
Like, yeah. And then, for the guns and everything, yeah, we take all the dummies out, if it's dummied up, and then, of course, we take the blanks out, too.
But where do they go?
They go back in a box.
Okay.
Or sometimes the dummies, they'll go on the cart, on the top of the cart.
Okay. So would you say that ammo's ever mixed?
The dummies and the blanks?
Or just, various kinds of dummies?
Well, various kinds of dummies, yeah. Like I told you, all dummies are kind of weird and individual in their own way, pretty much. So yeah, they were mixed pretty regularly.
Okay. So it's not like, you know, I say, hey, I take these rounds out of here, and they have to go back in that specific box because these are...
No, they just go in a dummy box.
Okay.
In a box of dummies.
So our actors or crew members on set, are they advised to self-inspect weapons?
I'm not really sure. Well, most of the time when they tell me, like, I'll go up to them and I'm like, here, and I show them it's clear, they'll be like, it's okay, I trust you. I say, don't trust me, you know, go ahead and always check for yourself.
Okay.
But,
yeah, are they required to self-check?
No, not really.
Okay.
But I do show them every time before I hand them off to them.
All right.
Show them that the gun's clear.
Have you seen any of them do their own safety checks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Jensen does his own safety checks. Travis does his own safety checks. Travis Simmel. Devin was getting into doing his own safety checks because I taught him how to do it. So he was kind of getting better at that.
What would they do to do these checks?
Pull the hammer back to half cock, spin it around, and close it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not pulling it rounds out, checking them themselves?
No, not really.
Okay. Has it ever been common practice for actors to do?
I'm not really too sure.
What about on your last production? Did they ever do their own?
Nick Cage definitely did not. He barely really cared to train with the gun at all. A lot of actors sometimes will barely care to train with the gun at all and think that they'll just do it on the day. But yeah, no, not a lot of them take it out and check them.
Okay. When you or somebody gives a gun to an actor, do you tell them, like, hey, these are the rounds that are in this gun? Like, do you tell them it's hot or cold, and then what kind of ammo is in the gun?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
So
I tell them, all right, so this is a clear gun if there's no dummies in it, right? If it's dummied up, I show them and I say this is dummied up, and usually I have the dummies that have no primer cap in there. So I'll show them that. And then if it's hot, I'll tell them it's hot, and I'll tell them 4/4 loads or 4/8 loads or
whatever is in the gun.
Yeah. Okay. And I let them know exactly how many is in there. And I put it exactly to where they'll shoot it and it'll go for that time.
Okay. Have you ever allowed access to anyone for any of these firearms?
No. Like for using them on set or?
For any purpose.
Well, I allow
outside of what their scope was.
No.
Like after hours, during lunch.
No.
You know, days that you guys weren't.
No, me, Nicole, and Sarah ate lunch together pretty regularly, pretty much every day, except for a couple of days where I would sit at another table or converse with some other people. But yeah, we all went to lunch together. We all locked them up every day at lunch, and we all locked them up every night. And I definitely didn't go to work on my weekends because why would I do that, you know? Right. I want to be there as least as possible. Don't we all? Yeah. So yeah, last weekend I was in Denver the first weekend actually. So yeah, and then the other one I was just relaxing at my hotel.
Okay. Did you spend any time with anybody on the weekends?
Yeah, I spent some time with the nice boy at the front desk at my hotel. He was nice. I hung out with some crew members. I went bowling one time. And other than that, I didn't really hang out with people outside of set too much. And I kind of went and did my own thing in Denver the week before. We haven't really been there that long.
Okay. Did you go out, just discussing, I mean, did you go out with the crew one night to, I think they said like some brewery?
Yeah. Yeah, we went to the brewery downtown after bowling.
After bowling?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was on a day off, though?
Yeah.
Did you have work the next day?
No, that was Monday. We worked, we had Monday, Tuesday off.
Okay. Do you remember which Monday it was?
It was the last Monday before the incident.
Okay.
So the 20th was the incident, I believe, on Wednesday? 21st, so...
So the 11th?
The Monday...
Columbus Day? Is that a holiday?
Or would that be the 18th?
No. Yeah, it would be the 18th.
Okay. So you were off that Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah.
And then we're back on holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you yourself, and not just on this set, but have you ever encountered a defective blank or...
A defective dummy?
Yeah.
So, you know, I've had a couple of blanks that haven't gone off, you know, but usually that's because the actor doesn't pull the hammer all the way back, and so it'll just be at half cock, and so when they shoot it, it won't ignite it, and I usually just say, like, oh, it was a misfire to kind of save the actor's face a little bit in that case.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of bad dummies, I had never experienced a bad dummy.
Okay. So what's your standard protocol, like, if one of them's defective?
The dummies or the blanks?
Either one.
Okay, so if the blanks are defective, you know, usually I'll just take them, I'll put them in my pocket, I'll save them for later, and then if I'm curious enough, I'll just go ahead and, like, shoot them and be like, okay, yeah, they didn't pull the hammer all the way back. Or if the dummies were defective, I guess, I would put them in my pocket and just save them to later and check them out.
Okay. Have you ever, in your history of working, encountered live rounds on the set?
Never.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because every dummy I've ever shaken has been a dummy, and the other ones have holes in the side, and I've never experienced a round that looked like a dummy and behaved like a blank or anything. So, yeah, I am shaking all of them most of the time.
Okay.
So.
And then, I know you've said this a million times, but just do me a favor, go over each round and then how the round.
Corporal, did Ms. Gutierrez tell you she was shaking all of them?
Is your microphone on?
Sorry. Did Ms. Gutierrez tell you that she was shaking all of them most of the time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Each round of blanks?
Yeah, and dummies. So I know that there's, like, obviously a couple different kinds of dummies.
All right, yeah. Okay.
You don't have to go into, like,
no,
every
it's okay.
specific caliber or anything of that sort, but just...
Okay. Let's, all right. So, a lot of the dummies, the ones with primer caps, those ones mostly go in the belts and everything. A lot of the primer caps are punctured most of the time, you know, because they get hit while they're in the gun. So those will go in the gun sometimes if I don't have the other ones. There are some with holes in the side that also still have the primer caps and everything. And then there's the ones with no primer caps, and there's a hole in the side sometimes too with those, and sometimes there's not. And mostly I like to put the ones with no primer caps into the guns, you know, just to make everyone feel safe. And then for the other ones, those go in the belts, you know, and the ones that have the primer cap and the hole in the side are good for both, really.
Okay. And then
for all the lows, yeah, all right. So for all the blanks, all the quarters, so there's eighth loads. Those are the super quietest ones, and I just worked with Ryan Armstrong, that little 11-year-old on the old way, and I had her use those. So especially if it's someone that's really young and new with the guns, I'll make sure that they're the smallest load possible, which is an eighth. Some horses require eighth loads. Most of the time I'll put the box and I'll put horsey rounds on them in my own handwriting, so that way I know.
And are those the eighths?
Yeah, those are the eighths. And then sometimes, you know, I will, if it's super close proximity and inside eighths too, But quarters also work for inside proximities that are close. And then on top of that, for the quarters, around kids, around horses too, that's like the last size pretty much allowed. And then we do the half loads if it's going into like a rifle or if we're outside. Like we did a lot of half loads on the show because a lot of it was outside. And then for the full loads, it's very rare still that I use a full load unless like an actor is just really weird and wants it. Alec only wanted to train with full loads because he wanted it to look realistic. Most of the time I'll use full loads if it's a really big gun, like a trapdoor or something, a trapdoor rifle. That would have a lot of smoke coming out of it, so you want to make sure it looks realistic.
Okay. Were all of these used for rust?
Fulls were used for us, some of my eighths were used for us, quarters were used for us, and halves were used for us, yeah. Okay. So it was really a variety and just depending on the situation.
Okay. And then, is anyone allowed to bring their personal firearms on the set?
No.
Did you see anybody bring personal firearms?
No.
And did you ever see anyone bring ammo?
No.
Okay. Did anybody ask you about going target shooting?
Yeah. The Wranglers made a joke about it one time to me, and I said something to the effect of, well, you can try, you don't have the ammo.
Okay. What did they say? Do you remember?
Not really. I don't really remember what they said.
But they insinuated about shooting actual rounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they were joking, though.
Okay.
A lot of boys on set will be like, oh my god, can we go shoot the guns? It's just, yeah.
But no one pressured you into...
No one ever seriously pressured me into it.
What about Sarah?
What about Sarah?
Did she ever mention anything about...
shooting? No. Sarah, yeah, no. She never mentioned anything about shooting, and we left every day at the same time and pretty much got there just around a little after each other.
Okay. So as far as safety protocols on set, do you recall any sort of safety protocols during the time of the production?
We had a couple of safety meetings. A lot of days we did not, which normally it's typical anytime that there's firearms or live animals on set or open flame, you do a safety meeting. So a lot of those days we did not have a safety meeting. Other than that,
who hosted them?
Huh?
Who hosted those safety meetings?
Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were about?
Guns, the guns and everything. We also said, because actors will leave guns around sometimes, they'll forget them. So we always told people, don't ever touch a gun if you see it, because Jensen totally left his on the snack bar one time. Yeah. And we found that pretty promptly, but...
Isn't your snack bar down at base camp?
No.
Where was it?
It's on set. We can't, go all the way back to base for snacks.
Well, so I was like,
No, I think you're thinking of the cafeteria.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, no, we have Crafty on set, really close to set most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be interesting. Talking about the snack bar, the little, trailer that has all the...
No, just Crafty. Just a table on set with, nutritious bars on it.
My favorite part of getting to work movie stuff is...
Oh, yeah.
Have, a little
I love when they have the trailer, yeah. Those are the legit ones. This one was, stupid cheap. Yeah. They would barely let her make soup for us. They barely let her make soups for us, and she had to fight hard for the soup. I called Becca the soup angel. She fought hard for those soups.
Did you ever see safety bulletins?
Where would they be posted, I wonder? Sometimes they would put some things in the call sheet, some safety bulletins and everything.
Do you remember what they said?
I think they would pertain to COVID. They would pertain to, you know, like firearms on set. They would pertain to live animals. Yeah, it's usually kind of like in red on the call sheets.
Okay.
Other than that, they would sometimes in an email, like, put it in red, like anything you needed to know about the day.
Do you still have those emails?
I think I might have some of those emails still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want
Yes,
to grab
those
those?
yeah,
Because,
sure.
that's, you know, obviously
Yeah.
Yeah.
a big, who distributes, because you guys would get call sheets the night before.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim Becerra usually sends them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is his position?
He is also an assistant director, but he's more of the type where he is never on set and his only job is sitting in the office and creating these schedules and doing all the paperwork.
So he's normally out.
Yeah, he's normally never on set, that poor boy.
All right. Who would you say is in charge of those safety meetings that were being held?
Dave, and then the first time we did it, he let me speak. Yeah. And I told people, you know, like, these are regular weapons we have on set. Don't stand in front of them. Don't point them at anybody. And then after that, the only other one we had was the day of, and Dave kind of just covered most of that.
Okay. Do you remember what he talked about today?
Not entirely. He just told everybody, like, you know, we do have, like, blanks on set. We are going to have a lot of gunfire today. Real guns on set. No one touched them, you know.
Okay.
And things like that, and also things about the horses he told.
When did you host a safety meeting?
I never hosted one all by myself.
Okay. What you said that he let you do one, though?
He let me hop in on his.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, Hannah, do you have anything else to add? And I said, yeah. And I said, let's be safe, you know, like, no one be standing in the way of these things, and just, like, don't be, if it's pointing in that direction, don't stand in front of it.
Okay. Do you remember what day that was, though?
That was the first day we had gunfire on set, which I believe was the second day that we started on set filming.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what do you teach actors or crew members when it comes to gun safety?
So it really also depends on the actors, too. You know, like big ones like Nick Cage, if they tell me, or if they tell the director, like, you know, that they don't really care to do it, I can try to teach them for the most part, but, like, a lot of the times they might not even listen to me or really pay attention or be on their phone. Alec was on his phone a lot of that entire thing. But for the most part, they put me in training this time. It was pretty irregular how I trained actors this time. This time, they put 9 people all together in one day that I was supposed to train. And during this time, they put a ton of producers right there. Normally, I train the actors one-on-one. It makes them feel comfortable. It allows them to not be distracted and everything. And this time, they had me training 3 people at once, and a ton of producers behind me. The director is there, too. The producers are talking to the actors. The actors were distracted even, too. And I tried my best to work with all 3 of them. I worked with Jensen. You could probably see a video of him saying, like, she showed me, like, this is how you check it, you know, this is how we make sure it's safe. So I try to do that standard same thing every time, show them how to check their own gun and show them how to make sure it's safe. And then I always I have them draw it a few times, you know, with nothing in there. Make sure that they have the draw down. Usually a little before that, I'll have them, like, just fire off a couple of quarter loads, you know, so they can get the idea of not drawing it from their thing, but just holding it and firing it so they can understand what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
And then after that, we work on the actions that they're going to specifically do. So, you know, if I know that they have a scene and everything, we kind of talk it out together and, like, how they would run, pull it out, what they could do, you know, how not to let it fall on the ground, how not to, like, let rocks get inside of it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What about safety rules? Do you advise them any of those?
safety rules such as I tell them all the time not to point them at each other. That's my biggest one, and I always say to everyone in front of them, I'm like, if you don't have to be here, don't be here. You know, other than that, safety-wise, I tell them to keep their finger out of the trigger guard unless they're ready to shoot, because that's how a lot of accidental discharges will happen. And that's just what my dad's told me, at least. So I always try to advise them to keep their finger out of the trigger guard, and yeah.
Okay. Besides you, were there any other trained armorers on the set?
Sarah was kind of trained by Seth. Yeah. I believe Sarah did a show before, and I think that there were 2 guns involved in the show. And Seth, I trained her personally for that.
Okay.
And then I also kind of showed her what to do at the beginning of it to make sure that she wouldn't have an accidental discharge. But she still did, so.
Yeah. So before any gun scene, even just like rehearsal or filming or anything of the sort, did they do a brief?
You know, sometimes they would have time to like really go into it and everything and like kind of, you know, work out the action. Sometimes they would do like an overall one, you know, where they kind of just say like bang, 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 bang. So we did have some rehearsals. Sometimes, you know, there wasn't always rehearsals.
Okay.
So sometimes, yeah, we totally had like rehearsals, usually the big ones, and we just kind of have people go bang, 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 bang.
All right. As far as, so what it's been referred to me as the show and tell day, where you brought out,
yeah,
pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, we brought out every gun that we had that Seth gave to us, and the director really just wanted a lot of options for people, especially because there are so many big names on this. So he wanted to be sure that all the actors knew that it was possible for them to switch around with guns, and that just because we had thought that they would look good with that gun doesn't mean that they were stuck with it.
Okay. Can you go into a little bit more detail about how this day played out? Like, where did you guys set up this table?
Okay.
And
yeah. So the day played out, we go to the edge of the town and everything, away from all the people working on the other side. They set up a table, they set up an easy up for us, and the prop truck was coming later that day, so that was finally the first day that we got to get the prop truck going and everything, and Sarah had all of the guns in her trunk, and so we took all those guns out of the trunk and we put them on the table. We had 2 tables, so we had 2 tables filled with long rifles, short guns, a lot of guns. And then also, once the show and tell was over, Joel was pretty cool. He was happy with everything. After that was over, he stuck around, and then, like, I think the first couple of actors showed up for training and everything, because I remember they said, like, okay, you're going to have, like, 3 at this time, and like 3 here and 3 there, and I was like, all right, like that's kind of manageable, and it is kind of manageable, you know, and it definitely, I've worked with 2 at a time before. 3 is manageable, but like also then all of a sudden with the actors, all these producers came, like a ton of producers, and so the producers are just kind of behind us the whole time. The guns are out there. We put a lot of them away that we didn't need for the training that day, so Sarah put a lot of those away, and we just kept those in my car because I had the safe, and ultimately I was going to put them in the safe at the end of the day. And then, so the actors came, we started training and everything, and then all of a sudden, a producer just like jumps into the training because I guess he was also firing, but they didn't schedule him for me, so at one point I was training 4 people at one time, which is a little chaotic. Yeah, so
when you had them, sorry, but when you had them all out on the table, how many people would you say were there, like max at a time, that were
probably like 10
messing?
10, and like not everyone was really allowed to mess with them, you know, like a couple producers, like, would ask if they could touch them. Ultimately, I always get pissed at people if they touch them without my permission.
Okay.
Joel, I let do that. You know, Joel is the director. He can touch them. But yeah, other than that, most people were there, and most people would be like, wouldn't even ask to touch them. Yeah, good, like, 10 producers were there.
Okay.
Yeah, and Gabby and Ro were there at the beginning, and eventually, like, they left with kind of everybody.
Okay.
And then towards the end of, so at the beginning of the day, I was supposed to train 6, and then I had an hour-long break, you know, and I think I was there from, like, 9 to, like, 2 or 8, and, yeah, 9 to 2, just training actors pretty much the entire time, and doing the show and tell. And then, so I trained 6 of them then, and then plus that producer that they threw in there randomly. And then after that, an hour went by, and I trained Devin, and I trained Miller. And, yeah, and the last guy didn't show up.
Okay. Who
Yeah.
was the producer that you trained?
Nathan.
Okay. Do you remember his last name?
No, not really. He was on set a lot. He was like a nice younger one, kind of.
Okay. How long would you say you spent with each group training?
With each actor, probably like 30, 20 minutes or so. Yeah, usually I like to work with the actors one-on-one and get like a full 30 minutes to an hour in, you know? But that's just not how it went on this one.
Who made that call?
Gabrielle.
Okay. Did she give you a time limit?
She just put 3 people together. Like, she scheduled it like that, and she said they had other things to do and had other, you know, they had to go and do training with the Wranglers. And a lot of this training was, like, the day before. Yeah, they're like, ride a horse now, and now you get to shoot a gun. And, like, yeah.
You get to shoot a gun off a horse.
Yeah, honestly, this is crazy because a lot of the times they have actors start working with the horses, like, months in advance because you can grasp the guns a little quicker than like a weird living animal and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they didn't have people training on horses well in advance for this either, which I thought was pretty wild.
Another total off subject, but I was, you know, we brought Jensen in here and spoke to him, and I found out that the gentleman who provided the horses for this set, I used to actually be a wrangler for him.
Oh, really? That's fun. Isn't he so cute?
His horses are terrifying.
Yeah, no, the horses are scary. I honestly, I was trying to get out of Westerns because every Western I'm on, a horse almost kills me.
Yeah.
Shit you not. Like, horses back up crazy. And, like, no one even said, like, not to walk behind the horses on this. And I was like, Sarah. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, I was just, like, the complete lack of just, like, yeah.
Yeah, I used to wrangle for him. And
yeah. I love Riley. He's a sweetheart. But, yeah, the horses are bad. But, honestly, like, it's been a long time since I've been able to work with any really good horses because I have been doing independence. You know, no one can afford, like, the good horses that Magnificent Seven had back when I was there in 15, you know.
Well, he used to do all kinds of, like, trail rides and stuff like that, too. But, I mean, I can tell you, like, because he goes, when they do trail rides, they go up, you know that mountain that has a cross on it down at the end of Bonanza?
Yeah.
So he used to take the horses up that mountain.
Yeah.
And I just remember one day he put me on a thoroughbred that came off the track, a mare. And, like, she was hot. She was a hot horse.
Yeah.
And so he, like, slightly drugged her up before this trail ride.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember a couple of the horses.
She was off in her own world, we'll just say that.
Yeah. A couple of the horses got loose on this. One, like, made a full-ass run for it, like, 3 times during one scene. They did their best they could to catch him.